un'intervista, penso proprio che dovreste sapere voi, perché per voi l'intervista è chi la legge, quindi se avete capito.
Show me the way home.
Can we have the interview?
Oh, yes.
Just 10 minutes.
Oh,
10
sure.
minutes.
Okay.
We're listening.
Thank you. I guess that's a good idea. I didn't know we had to do that.
Well, you already answered my questions, but I didn't say them. Okay. Well, what brought you to Italy? Holiday or work? But I know what brought you to Italy.
Holiday. And to see everybody, all the fans of Sentieri.
Is it your first time here?
No. Maybe my 21st.
21st? Really? Where have you been? In Rome? Where else?
Rome, Florence, Sicily, Venice, Florence, Milan,
Which is the place
Sardinia. I love Rome.
Why? Is there a reason?
Oh, it's so
Quindi
beautiful.
conti un punto perso,
I mean, the buildings, the architecture, the people, the clothes, the food, everything.
What impressed you the most by now? You know, food,
Architecture. I wanted to be an architect.
Really?
Yeah, and I took the test, and I didn't have any structural visualization. But my grandfather was one of the great architects in America, and I just didn't have the talent. But I love architecture, and there's no architecture better than Rome. Every street.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted to be an architect. And do you like Italian food?
Of course I like Italian food, yes.
Can you cook?
Not well.
No. Not Italian food, no?
No, but our next door neighbors, the whole thing, used to cook risotto and bring it over all the time. So I had a lot of very good Italian food.
Are you traveling alone?
No, with my friends.
Today you've met some of your Italian fans. How do you feel?
Very loved.
What did they tell you? What did they ask you? They want to know.
Well, they just were sort of having fun, I thought. They were having fun with it. I didn't feel that they were asking. I mean, they would ask a few questions about what went on, and I tried to tell them some behind-the-scenes funny things, like Alan Dash.
Do you ever receive letters or emails from Italian fans?
On Facebook, I communicate, and on the Sentieri website. Yeah. And when I said I was coming, there were a lot of Italian people who answered me. People from Italy on Facebook and Twitter.
Is there something you would like to tell about Italian life in Paris in Italy?
I think it's wrong. I really hate it. I think you should have been able to see the last 2 years. After watching it for 30 years, you should have had 2 years to see the finale of the whole show.
Why do you think?
I have no idea. It just makes no sense.
That's like it's a great part of your life. 26 years? Somebody had told you at the beginning that you wouldn't see Lillian Raines for such a long time.
I came on the show for 6 months. That's why I came on. It was just for that great thing with Beth, and they liked the character, so I stayed for 26 years. I would never have believed that I'd have my quarter of a century. A good part of my life has been on that show.
Do you remember your audition?
I didn't have an audition. They just hired me.
Was they liked you before they
In other shows, yeah.
It was so different, the character you were.
But she knew what I could do. Yeah, she was so good. She was so wonderful. I missed that. Oh, I loved it.
And do you remember your first day on set? Do you remember anything? Were you nervous? Were you excited?
When I walked out on any set, if I do movies now, I'm so excited, or I do my show, I'm thrilled to be doing Changing Shoes.
Yeah, really excited.
Yeah, thrilled. I mean, I get butterflies. I feel like I've come home.
How was the atmosphere on set? You used to have fun? Was it serious? How was the atmosphere on set?
Always had fun. People were always making jokes in the morning for breakfast, Before breakfast, when we rehearsed, people were howling. They'd make the funniest stories.
Were you having breakfast together?
Oh, we'd come in and rehearse at 7, and there'd be breakfast out there. Sure. Well, it was 5:30 when we went out to PPAC. It depended how late you had to be there. Sometimes it was till 3, sometimes it was till 8. It just depended.
Hard. Has your life changed in any way since you joined Daily Life? How has your life changed?
well, it was wonderful to have a stable job as an actress for a quarter of a century. It was lovely. And it brought wonderful, I told you before, I came to Italy when Guiding Light was at its height, and the president, everybody was watching it, and I stayed at the Cipriani, and they moved my son, I was with my little son, it was a baby then, and they moved us to this beautiful suite. They said, ah, la bella mama, we're back at best mama, and moved us to this huge suite, and I went to pay, and he wouldn't let me. And Philip said, when he used to come over, Philip, he went into Armani to buy clothes, and they just gave him the clothes. And in those days on Guiding Light, it was so popular here that it was wonderful. And also in the States, they upgrade you before 9/11, when people could change their reservations. So, I mean, and also you got to wear the beautiful clothes to go to parties, I mean, I just had a wardrobe right there for myself. I didn't have to buy, I didn't buy clothes for 26 years. I just wore Lillian's. Some of them.
Have you ever regretted not
doing
it? Yes, for 26 years.
I never
Maybe you
regretted.
lost the chance to movies.
I did
or
movies.
something.
I did tons of movies while I was on Guiding Light. I've done a
You
lot
didn't
of
have to
them.
announce anything.
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't go to California and become a star, but everybody who went to California had to come back.
That's right. I'm sure you have hundreds of fun story and memories from your life. Would you tell me just a couple of them, most funny moments you remember? I know it's hard.
It's in my book. One of my favorite was, I don't like smells that are bad smells at all. I mean, I'm really, and they knew it at work, so if there was a fire or something, or a car exploded, I wouldn't come into work that day, they wouldn't call me in. But one day, when you remember when Carl was killed by Lizzie, but we all thought it was Bassler, we didn't know who had done it. Well, Carl arrived at the Spalding Mansion when we were having a big party, and I was supposed to run over to him as the nurse and say, oh, his eyes are dilated, he's dead, or something like that. He has no pulse, he's dead. But he came in smelling of manure. And I started down the stairs to him, and I couldn't do it, so I stood at the top of the stairs, and I went, oh, I can see his eyes are fixed and dilated. He was miles away. And I can feel his pulse. He doesn't have a pulse because I couldn't get near him or I would have thrown up. And the director came out and said, Tina, and he smelled it too, and he went, never mind, just do it the way you are. So that was one wonderful moment. So silly.
And I write down the one about Alan's dad and Ashes because it's great.
Right.
Was it difficult for you to roll for so long? How do you manage to keep it fresh?
Oh, it was never difficult. It was just, the minute I put on my clothes, I knew, I changed from being me who would climb mountains and would run marathons to this woman who wouldn't have gotten in an airplane. She was so scared of things. And so, I never had a problem. I just loved doing it every day. I mean, toward the end when she was saying, where's Beth, where's Beth, where's Beth, right when you all stopped seeing it, then they changed it and I had fun things to do, but that was hard. When I was being diminished, that was very difficult. But then it went away. I mean, then it changed. You just hold on long enough and the circle comes around and things are good again.
Have you ever said, well, you're already answered, no, I can't play the scene, it's wrong, I don't like it.
That was the only time, was the one. There have been times when I didn't recognize Beth. Do you remember when she came back as Lorelei?
Yes.
And I'd look at her, and Philip and I would say, doesn't she remind you of someone? And we'd be biting our lips so that we wouldn't laugh out loud, because of course it was Beth, and we had to pretend it. And I remember going to the director, and I never complained. I said, she looks just like Beth. How am I, her mother, not to recognize her? Right down to the mole on her chest, she looked like Beth. And he said, you just don't recognize her. I went, okay, but I mean, it was ridiculous.
So you never proposed a change?
I proposed a change. I was going to murder Bradley. And I proposed a change because if I murdered Bradley, I'd be in jail and no little girl could tell her mother what Daddy was doing. And that's why they put Bradley in jail and we went to the rape crisis centers. So we helped a lot of kids.
Is there anything you have in common with Lillian Raines? What do you have in common with her?
Loving Beth, that's about it.
Is that the only thing you have in common with her? You're completely different?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, what happens to Lillian again?
Oh, it's wonderful at the end. She marries Buzz in the most beautiful double wedding with Vanessa and Billy. And they're just so happy. Lillian and Buzz are just hilarious. We are so funny together. We found the perfect person. We had a date, and they just watched us and said, these two, he kissed me. That's what it was. in the date, and I forgot my lines because the kiss was so good. So I went, oh my, oh my, oh my, instead of going, I had these sophisticated lines, but instead I said, oh my, oh my, oh my, and everybody broke up, and they just kept us together after that. And you know, we'd be going out, and we made the scenes up. He'd say, because I was a nurse, he'd say, let me have one, and I'd take a piece, and we'd just pretend it was Viagra. We just made these things up. He said, I'll see you in 10 minutes. You know, we just made it up. Or we go into the woods together and come out all disheveled. And, you know, people loved, because we were older. I mean, I will be 70 on February 1st. So, you know, to see a couple our age, he's 60, but our age, was wonderful. People loved it.
Did you tell your husband that he was so good?
No, I didn't. And he didn't tell his wife, I'm sure.
Did any of the guiding light actors become true friends for you?
Oh, Beth and Philip. Beth and Philip and Vanessa. Ron Raines.
You keep seeing them?
Oh yeah, a lot.
What did you miss the most?
I miss being in the dressing rooms next to Justin, he's a good friend, or Beth, or Philip, and sitting there and just laughing and having fun. I miss the clothes. But you know, I've changed my life. I've changed my shoes by my book and my play, so I am really busy now. Really busier than I've ever been, I think.
Well, the next question, how has your life changed?
Because I've written a book that's very popular, and I've written a play that I'm the star of that I've done all over the country. And you know, I'm about to go home and do it more.
Have you ever wanted to write a book?
Oh, I have a novel coming out. I'm writing now. It's much more what I want to write. I wrote this memoir, Changing Shoes, because I felt it was important for the baby boomers to know things that I put in that book. How to take care of their parents, that you had to do certain things to protect your parents. I had to go live it, and I wanted other people to learn. I wanted to give it as my gift to the world. That was my gift.
Can you share with us just a couple of advices to put in the book?
Well, I mean, you know, a lot of people don't have wills. I mean, it's amazing how many people don't have wills, and how many people's parents don't have wills. And how you should ask your parents to tell you stories, because when they're gone, they're gone. You don't get the stories back. And I wake up sometimes thinking, I wish I'd asked my mother or my father this. And just be prepared. I have a whole chapter in there called Legally Blonde, and it's all about the things you need to do to prepare your life to be over. But I also, and your parents and your siblings or whatever. It's a chapter of very practical advice. And then there's funny advice. And then there's, you know, because of the makeup, you learn how to wear it on Guiding Light. I did a lot of that stuff too. So.
And how did you learn?
Makeup? No. Because my parents were sick, and I went through 5 years of learning everything and wishing there was a book out there for me. Yeah.
If you had to pick one pair of shoes, just one, which pair would you choose to represent you?
Yellow sandals, high heel sandals, sort of what I have on now, but pretty colors, maybe purple.
That's what I want to ask. What are you wearing now?
Gold
why?
sandals.
Last question. Who is your guiding light? Do you have a guiding light? First,
There's a woman I know who's 10 years older than I am, and I suppose she'd be my guiding light. She's an editor at Random House. Her name is Nancy Lee, and she always dresses beautifully. She still goes to work every day. She's almost 80 years old, and she's gorgeous, and she's married to Gage Lee, who's a very famous Italian writer. I mean, he's an American, but he's Italian. And I guess she would be, because she's that far ahead of me, that she makes me feel, and she never complains, she always has fun. She's gutsy, and she's still working. And I think that's important. I mean, I could have given up when Guiding Light went off. I was old enough, but I thought,
And where did you find the strength to say, okay, let's start again?
I don't know. You just do. I had a friend who was much, much older. She was in her 90s, and I knew she was in pain. She never complained. I said, how do you stand it? She said, you just do. And those, you know, just do it. Nike says, just do it, and that's the answer, isn't it?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you all so much. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Bye-bye.